Welcome to my review and unboxing of the Nespresso Vertuo Next. Let's go ahead and start with the unboxing of the Nespresso Vertuo Next. This is the third Nespresso machine that I have personally tested out, and I'm really excited for this one, mainly because you can brew an entire carafe of coffee. And those are really large Vertuo pods that only work with this Next machine. So first things first, inside the box, we have obviously the manual. This is going to be your quick start guide and some additional manuals. Then on the top here, we have the drip station. And this is going to be an adjustable drip station, so you can move it up and down, allowing you to use all kinds of different cup sizes. Next, we have our gift box of Nespresso Pods. This probably is my favorite part of every Nespresso machine, just because they give you this box of Nespresso Pods to try, and there's usually a great variety inside of here. And lastly, of course, we have the Nespresso Vertuo Next machine at the bottom. And soon we're going to go ahead and brew a pod of Nespresso. But first, I just want to go ahead and talk about the features of this machine and what makes it different from the other Nespresso machines. First off, we have a pretty large water basin here in the back, enough for you to brew that 18-ounce carafe that only the Nespresso Vertuo Next can do. Another difference compared to, let's say, the Vertuo Plus is going to be this little side hatch, and this is where all of your used Nespresso pods are going to go. Now, for example, in the Vertuo Plus, this is actually in the back. I kind of like it on the side. It's really easy to get to. So let's say that you have the Nespresso Vertuo Plus against the wall. Well, then you can't easily access this chamber with all the used Nespresso pods when it's time to empty it. So for this one, it's on the side, very easy to get to. And that's something that I love that they introduced in the Nespresso Vertuo Next. And of course, all the Nespresso machines are going to have this adjustable drip station, so you can move this up and down depending on the cup size that you're using for your Nespresso. Lastly, we have to talk about the top here. So it has a locking and unlocking function. So if I turn this to the right, it's going to unlock and open up the chamber. This, of course, is where you're going to put your Nespresso pod, and then you would close it and lock it when you're ready to brew your Nespresso. And you'll notice in the back that we have this little capture device here that's going to pick up the Nespresso pod and put it into the recycling chamber. This all works smoothly, and it's honestly one of my favorite things about Nespresso machines. Now that we've talked about all the features of the Nespresso Vertuo Next, let's go ahead and brew an Nespresso pod. And we're going to be brewing this Furtado Decaffeinato. This is my favorite decaf coffee pod from Nespresso, so that's why I'm choosing this one. To brew a pod of Nespresso with the Nespresso Vertuo Next, all we're going to have to do is just pop open this little lid in the back, take our water, and we'll dump this in. And I put about 10 ounces of water in here, so you'll notice that you have plenty of extra room inside this water basin. Then what we need to do is go ahead and unlock this. That, of course, will open up the chamber. We can take our pod, place it into the chamber, take our cup, place it on top of the drip station, and now we are ready to brew with the Nespresso Vertuo Next. Now, you do have to slam this quite hard and then twist it to lock it. Once you've locked it, now all we have to do is just hit this button and that will start the brew. And there we have it. We are now brewing our lovely Nespresso pod, and you'll notice that immediately we have that crema foam on top, and I'm so excited for my favorite Nespresso pod. Honestly, there's a lot to love about the Nespresso Vertuo Next, and the speed at which it brews a pod is absolutely incredible. And there we have it, our lovely brewed Nespresso pod. And look at that crema. The Nespresso Vertuo Next does a great job of making Nespresso pods, just like all of the Nespresso machines. After brewing our Nespresso pod with the Nespresso Vertuo Next, you hit the unlock button, and you'll notice that it will eject the pod into the recycle bin in the back. Now let's go ahead and do a taste test. That is an amazing cup of coffee. Let's go ahead and quickly take a look at what Nespresso pods they gave us in our starter pack. We simply just pull on this, open it up, and there we can see all the different Nespresso pods they give us for this specific machine. I love waking up in the morning and brewing myself an 8-ounce cup of coffee with an espresso machine, because I get rich, delicious coffee in about 30 seconds seconds to a minute. We also have a couple of Gran Lungo, and those are going to brew about 5 ounces of stronger coffee. Then we have some double espressos right here, and we have 4 single shot of espresso. One thing that I appreciate is that they do give you a decaf pod. I love the decaf pods from Nespresso because sometimes the caffeine can be a little bit much, and on a cold afternoon I just want a cup of coffee without the jitters, so I choose to use those decaf pods. If you're someone who wants to be able to brew an 18-ounce carafe of Nespresso coffee, then the Nespresso Vertuo Next is going to be your best option. And even though it's larger than the other two, it does have the capability of brewing the biggest pod sizes. So if you have enough counter space and you want to brew the biggest pods of Nespresso coffee, then I highly recommend picking up the Nespresso Next.